Hello and welcome to Family Gamer TV. If, like me, you've been conned into grabbing the PC version of Minecraft, a game you probably already own on Xbox and some other platforms, you might also now be in the situation I am of trying to mod the game to deliver all of the promise that YouTube has given. Now, we are currently using the most recent version of the game, which is 1.6.2, and we found on many occasions that the majority of mods either haven't worked because they've not yet been updated, or there have been clashes between multiple mods that have been going on. Now, with PC games, this could be down to any number of reasons, but we did get 4 of them up and running, and we wanted to see just how they affected the game. The first thing we updated was Zans Minimap. Now, if you've played the game before, you'll know that what's often offered is a paper map that you can hold up and see where you are roughly in the world, and if there's anybody else playing, where they are. What Zans Minimap does is add a minimap in the top corner of the screen. Now, at first it might not seem that useful, and certainly it didn't impress when we first had a look at it, especially as it's so familiar from other games. But the small map did quickly prove useful. Not only was it able to guide our way through the world, but also enabled us to lay markers on the land. This meant that rather than trying to build astronomical structures, we actually were able to put markers that glowed on the map and highlighted the area. It also enabled teleportation and even the ability to see what the map was like deeper down. This enabled you to find things like lava pools and water pools underwater that otherwise might not be visible. The next thing we grabbed was a mod called Timber. Now, as the name suggests, this is for cutting down trees, but rather than just knocking out single blocks as you would normally in the world, the Timber mod allows you to take an axe, and if you hit any block you hit, every subsequent block of wood above it will drop down. It might sound like a very small addition, but early on in the game it saves a lot of time and really speeds up the pace of play. The third mod we tried was the Instant Massive Structures mod. It works in a very similar way to the way you create any other object in the game. For example, if you want to create an axe, you lay down 2 poles and a few stone blocks and you have a stone axe. With the massive structures, you lay things down to the same recipe, a set recipe, and suddenly, bang, you've got a huge building. So from only 9 blocks, it's possible to create huge lighthouses and skyscrapers, which opens up, 1, very interesting and surprising consequences, and 2, and perhaps more tellingly, access to all the resources that are contained within them. The final mod we installed was actually very different and clashed with all the other mods we had, so this was the only one we were allowed to run, or able to run at one time. It was the Dragonblock Universal, and actually drew on the Dragonborn Universe, so if your kids like that, they may well appreciate it. Now, unlike some of the other textures and skin packs that we'll address in the other episode, this was quite different because it actually changed the gameplay mechanics, enabling superpowers to your character, basically. Huge jumps, punches, and a variety of other abilities, as well as gathering in energy to, in a similar way to Japanese anime, just kind of sucking all this power to enable you to do all these other abilities. It actually added more layers of complexity. And while I was able to navigate it, we quickly found it quite challenging. Ultimately, mods were not all they were cracked up to be. There was talk of the Pokemon mod and the Doctor Who mod, but everyone we tried to install was not compatible with 1.62. Now, these will probably get updated, and certainly the prospect of running around in a kind of Doctor Who world with sonic screwdriver abilities or running around throwing out Pokemon will be very appealing, but it didn't really change the core of the game, and the majority of the time the more rules were added, the less fun was had. So mods are perhaps not all that they're dreamt to be by inquiring young minds. See you next time as we run through some texture maps and skins that completely change the look of the game while leaving the core gameplay intact.